Hello again, and welcome to SEC Basketball Predictions here at Southeastern 16. I am your host, Chris Lee, joined by Blake Lovell and Max Barr. Today's game we are breaking down, and we have other games and other videos. Some have standalone videos like this. Others will be lumped into one. This one, Alabama's trip to Rupp Arena, 11 a.m. Central. Alabama and Kentucky are going to be, I would say, a virtual toss-up. When the lines come out, we don't have them. Right now, Kentucky is a 1-point favorite in this one. Cannot wait to see it. Two premium offenses in college basketball matching up in one of the best venues. Max Barr, start us off. What are you watching for here?
Yep, I think this might be the highest total we've seen all year also on the total. I mean, just if you like points, watch the game. It's simple as that. I think, let's see. Yeah, Alabama's offense, 15 seconds per possession, sixth fastest in the nation. Kentucky's offense, 15.8 seconds per possession, 32nd fastest offense in the country. These guys want to fly. It's going to be fun to watch. However, as we get into the breakdown, I think both teams have some angles where they might be able to enforce their style of play while both play fast. Both play different. I think that's going to be important in this game, guys.
Yep, it should be an offensive showcase. As we know, remember the two games, or the game these two played last season on February the 24th. Kentucky 117, Alabama 95. We're rooting for the same point total here
Yes, we
because that's a lot of points that were put up on the board last year. You would expect this game to be a bit closer than that one. And so, yeah, I mean, look, that's going to be the talking point here is just how many points are these two teams going to put up just based on how good they've been offensively. Of course, Alabama, coming off of a poor offensive performance, probably the poorest of the Nate Oates era, did that, though, against one of the best defensive teams out there in Ole Miss. How does Alabama regroup now and go up against Kentucky, who we know has given up a few points to a team like Florida and Mississippi State? But the Cats are 3-1, and so it's quite a setup here for these two teams. And again, it's one of those where we keep saying you got to win your home games. Alabama just dropped a home game. Kentucky's done a good job of winning their home games. So a lot at stake here, I think, for these two teams as we not only look at this game, but look ahead with seeding and all that kind of stuff. Big game for both.
Blake mentioned some interesting things in the matchups. And one thing I like to do is go to Ken Palm's game profile and look at where the red ink and the green ink intersect as these teams match up. And there's a lot more of this than I would have thought. Alabama, not a particularly good three-point shooting team, 248th nationally. Kentucky, outstanding at three-point defense, giving up 27.9%. That ranks 7th nationally. 2-point offense, Alabama 3rd in the country in percentage. Kentucky 214th in the country at defending it. So those are kind of interesting things. On the other side of the matchup, Kentucky turns it over just 13.8% of the time. That's 10th in the country. Alabama does not force turnovers, 14.1%. So Alabama ranks 341st nationally. It's just not what Alabama does. So don't expect, I think, a lot of extra possessions via turnovers for Alabama because it's just not in the profile. Anyway, some more interesting stuff here than I thought when I looked at it, Max. Give me comments on that or something else in the matchup that you think is particularly interesting.
I think one guy that we maybe haven't talked about enough as we should have this year, but his absence was definitely noticeable in the last game. Darian Reed for Alabama. He does not play, and you could tell that they were missing a piece 1,000%. He brings a level of consistency to this team, a level of physicality, and we know this team is so deep. Talking about Alabama, that was the number one thing we were talking about with them all summer. Well, now you don't have Latrell Wrightsell, who's your best three-point shooter. And guys, actually, this is crazy. Okay, I was looking at this last night. Latrell Wrightsell only played 8 games. He played the first 8 games of the season. He made 19 threes, shooting 42%. There's only 2 players on Alabama's team that has more than 19 threes right now. Reitzel did it in 9
Wow.
games. Yeah, it's Sears and Holloway. I know Youngblood would probably be there if he was healthy. He's only made 13 he's 28%. Stevenson's only made 11. Grant Nelson's only made 12. Philon has only made 15, 26%. Latrell Reitzel right now is still the team's third leading three-point shooter, and he only played 8 games. I feel like his absence is so important. And now you add Darian Reed. That's 2 major pieces, guys, that we've kind of just, yep, they've got replacements. They've got replacements. Also, Houston Millett, down 3 guys. So definitely a major factor here.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, we were fully expecting these percentages from 3 just to eventually catch up, but like they're just still not there. I mean, take the last. Well, it's kind of one of those where it's like, look at the South Dakota State game, right? They only shot 34.5%, but they made 19, and they attempted 55 threes in that game. 9 of 29 against Oklahoma, 31%. 8 of 19 against South Carolina, 42%. 13 of 37 against A&M. That's like your more Alabama-type stat line, I feel like. 13 of 37, 35%. And then, of course, they just struggled to get anything going against a great defensive team in Ole Miss. And I think that's what it comes down here to for me, right? It's like, yes, like people have pointed out the issues with Kentucky defensively when you look at just the statistical numbers. And like we said, I mean, I feel like this same trio of teams, Kentucky, Florida, Alabama, are always going to play the wildest games. They did it last year. This year, we've already gotten kind of off to that start with Kentucky and Florida. You would expect this to be very similar. And so I think it's just defensively, knowing that Kentucky is still percentage-wise a top 10 team in the country in three-point field goal percentage defense, only allowing 27.9%, as you guys have talked about. I mean, I think that's what's going to stand out here. But we keep saying, too, and we bring this up a lot, but like I feel like there's still a percentage of people out there who think Alabama is just a three-point shooting team. They're just a team that's going to put up 53s a game, and that's it. We know, too, like Alabama is going to attack to try to get to the free throw line. And I think that's one. What do we always say, right? It's, hey, that's a great idea and all, but how many free throws are you going to shoot? Like, that's going to be an important part of this game. I don't think it's going to be the same thing we saw at Texas A&M, right? I don't know if Alabama's getting to 40 free throws. And so a lot of points are going to be scored. It's just I'm most fascinated by where do those points come from? Because they're going to be put up on the board. I'd be surprised if any of these teams are scoring under 70 or something, right? But where are they coming from? Does Alabama break through in terms of the percentage and, have one of those just ridiculous shooting nights? Can Kentucky break through against Alabama's, high percentage defense on the 3-2, 12th in the country? Those are all kind of interesting questions, I think, heading into it.
I want to ask you guys a quick question about Kentucky and three-point shooting. Kobe Bryant, Max, am I dreaming this? I think he's had maybe the flu or a virus or something that slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the last 3 games, he is 4 of 19 from 3, which is extremely uncharacteristic of him. Now, Jackson Robinson has stepped up and had a couple of huge games in his stead, and boy, if they get those two going at the same time, God help you, especially in that building. Any thoughts on that or any other storyline here with injuries or illnesses or something that's like a recent trend that is worth watching?
No, I think Kentucky will, because Andrew Carr's been off the injury report, so he's been good to go. But the thing with Kentucky, and we said it in the last reaction, whether it's Brea, whether it's Jackson Robinson, whether it's a surprise kind of volume performance from Lamont Butler or Ansley Elminor, it's you just take your pick. The odds are one of these guys is going to be knocking down their shots, is going to get on a hot streak. It's just when you look at Kentucky's season so far, they've lost 3 games, okay? They've shot under 26% from 3 in only 3 games. Guess which 3 games they were? The 3 games they lost. They shoot under 26% from 3, they've lost. They shoot over it, they've won. It's been there's been no outliers to that trend. And so what do you guys think? Does Kentucky shoot over 26% or do they not? because the result pretty much has fallen aligned with that trend.
Well, here's the thing. If you look at the teams they've lost to and the percentages, Clemson is 27th in defensive efficiency right now. Ohio State is 29th. Georgia is 17th. Alabama, right there in that same area, at 35th, right? Except the thing is, with Alabama, we just talked about it. Like the percentages tell you, I mean, they're 12th in three-point percentage defense. Clemson is now 91st. Ohio State, 18th. And then Georgia, which we've talked about before, in the top 10 at 9th. So, I mean, Alabama's got the profile of those kind of teams. If you're just looking from a numbers perspective, Alabama has the profile of a team that could present some challenges for those percentages and getting to that magic number.
Picks and why. Max Barr, start us off.
Well, this is going to be a fun one, and surely neither side is going to be upset no matter where you go on this one. Listen. I think this is very simple. I think if Alabama was at full strength, Wrightsell, Reed, Millette, everyone firing, the way that the matchup sets up, the way that Kentucky really doesn't force turnovers, the way that Alabama would probably get to the free throw line a little bit more, I would trust Alabama just a little bit more. But they're not healthy. Not even close. And so you're going on the road at one of the hardest places to play in the country right now. And they're full of confidence. So I think this is going to be a short spread that the public is going to be very heavily on Kentucky, which is why I'm going Alabama. So give me the Tide. The Tide get it done on the road when no one thinks they can shorthanded. Someone steps up big and gets it done.
Young Max Barr. Kentucky is 11-0 in Rupp Arena.
Yeah.
Alabama's banged up.
They are.
Alabama's also unbeaten on the road, I believe. No, sorry. Lost at Purdue back in mid-November. What's a man to do here?
We all know what you're doing, so go ahead and just make the pick. We all know what this setup is, okay? Trust me.
Come on, Chris.
Give me the Tide.
Of course, I knew you were going to pick the Tides. 100%. I had no doubt in my mind. Not even a single question. Your dramatic setups right now have just become as predictable as Kentucky putting up an enormous amount of points in Rupp Arena. 103, 100, 97, 108, 87, 105, 78. Let's throw that one out. That's Colgate.
I feel like this is an FM radio dial.
93. Yeah, they do the FM radio dial at Rupp. 88, 106, 92, 81. The points are going to be had in this game.
Yep.
I think, when you look at these two teams. Now, the thing is, Alabama, not so bad themselves when it comes to scoring points. As we know, if you look at Alabama's, here you go. If you look at the 4 road games that Alabama has played in the past month or so, 94, 97, 88, 94. So the Tide also scoring points. My prediction in this game is points. I'm not picking a team. Just give me points. I refuse to pick either team. Just give me the points here because I know that that's the most predictable element when you have two teams like this who can go off at any time offensively. You also have two teams who I think at times can leave a little bit to be desired defensively. Trust me, I'm aware Alabama defensively, in terms of the metrics, are a bit higher than Kentucky. But I still think these are, again, two teams who do not force any turnovers. So both offensive teams are going to get what they want. And you know what Alabama fans really don't want me to do? They don't want me to pick Alabama because they know what that means. If I go all in on the Tide, don't care about nothing but the Tide. Good news, Alabama. I'm picking Kentucky in this one. I am picking the Cats at home. I think they find a way. We've seen them find a way. And we said it, like the banged up aspect, It's a tough spot for Alabama coming off of that home loss where I don't think they're scoring 64 points here, but I think it's a tough spot. Kentucky is, what have we said all season? Kentucky rises to the occasion in these kind of big games, and especially we've seen that now in the back-to-back home games, right? Against Florida, against A&M. So picking the Cats to avoid the kiss of death for Alabama. Ooh. But you know what? Now Kentucky fans are they get mad at me no matter what. If I pick them, I'm upset. But no, we broke
Max,
the curse. We broke the curse for Kentucky. We broke the curse against A&M with the Southeastern 16 kiss of death. So we're trying to eliminate this thing, but Kentucky fans, remember the power rankings. Remember this pick, okay? Because if you lose and let me down, then all of a sudden we got to rethink things. No, I'm picking Kentucky here. I'll go with the Cats.
Can't wait.
The best part of this is, Max, you asked me pre-show who you're picking. I said I know, and I did, and I didn't tell you. And I was picking Alabama either way, but I didn't think you were going to pick Alabama. And when you did, I completely lost. I had this whole speech planned out, and I completely blanked. And also, the fact that it's me and you against Blake is going to make for great theater on Saturday, because either this man is going to gloat, and boy, nobody can gloat like Blake Lovell, or you and I are going to have a lot of fun.
Kentucky fans
are
already
minds either way
with you two, and can you imagine you two picking against the Cats and they go win another one? Oh my, it could be incredible. If not, then well, I will own up to my pick.
I'm here for it.
This setup scares the pants off me now.
It should.
It really does. All right. Well, hey, we'll be here to gloat or take our lumps or both. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, if you don't mind. If we picked against your team, hit the like button. How about that?
Nice.
Enable your notifications so you know when we're going live. Oreo's already losing his mind over this. You can hear it, because what does he do? He loses his mind over SEC basketball. So do we. So do you. That's why you love us. Come join us on Saturday night as we talk about these, and even the watch along, which we're doing for this, which I nearly forgot to mention. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. God bless you. I'm Chris Lee, joined by Max Barr, Blake Lovell, and the Howling Oreo. Thanks for watching our SEC basketball content.